These are my spinach artichoke dip stuffed mushrooms.
Oh,
Yes.
so you're doing stuffed mushrooms and spinach and artichoke dip together as one.
I love spinach artichoke dip. That's like a staple at my house when I was in high school. My mom would always have me make spinach artichoke dip if people were coming over.
Did you guys put it in a bread bowl, though, like the rye bowl?
No, I just did it in a casserole dish, a little 8x8, bake it, and eat it with chips.
That's a lot.
And so I am doing some stuffed mushrooms, but stuffing them with spinach artichoke dip. And we like a little texture on there, a little crunch. So, Jeffrey, I'm going to put you on toasted breadcrumb duty because we're going to put those on top. So butter, breadcrumbs, and then season them with some salt and pepper. After they're toasted, mix them with some Parmesan cheese and minced
chef. I love
parsley.
stuffed mushrooms. It's sort of an old-fashioned.
Yeah.
No one does it anymore.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant out by me that does it, Stone Tavern. We get it every time. Either that or the beef nachos.
My sister's boyfriend, Mikey Savage, he's a chef. He's executive chef at this restaurant called Frasca. And he brings, like, to my Thanksgiving feast, the stuffed mushrooms, like trays of them. And it's just like, and then we have like, I swear to God, there's like leftovers for 3 days. And you just go in the fridge at night.
Pop one.
Yeah.
Pop.
Cold,
Lights out.
room temp, or warm.
Totally.
They're delicious. Yeah.
Now, a great thing about this recipe is that you can make this ahead and freeze it. So let's get started on our dip, the dip component, the stuffing component. I've got some artichoke hearts here. These are, you can get them a jar or frozen. If you get the frozen, be sure to thaw them, or you can get them canned. So I'm gonna put those in the food processor. This is some frozen spinach. You can just thaw it, just so that it's not frozen anymore. Really want to squeeze the moisture out of it. So either put it in a cheesecloth, a dish towel, and I'm gonna put a clove of garlic. Now I'm gonna give this just a little pulse.
There it is.
So get that mixed
eat that with a spoon right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some cream cheese. There we go. Put that in there. And mayonnaise. Every good dip's gotta have some mayonnaise, right?
Which is just an egg and some olive oil.
I mean, truthfully, cream cheese and mayonnaise, from there, you can put just about anything in a dip and it's gonna taste good. And Parmesan cheese.
There it is.
I'm gonna put a couple leaves of fresh basil in here as well. And let's get some salt in here. And some freshly ground black pepper. And let's get this blended up.
I like a hot dip.
So I want this to be creamy, but still have a little flecks of the artichoke and the spinach in there.
I most definitely prefer a hot dip over a cold dip.
I think I do too.
I love a hot dip.
A queso fundido.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You know, like a cake, just
now,
like a queso
this
con
could
carne.
go into a casserole dish and be baked and have it just as dip, as is. But since we're going to put it into some mushrooms, I put it into a pastry bag, or you can put it into a zip-top plastic bag. And I've got some mushrooms here. You know, I'm just using the little creminis. I take the stem off of those and then take a spoon in and just kind of get whatever is left in out so that you got room to put in all the good stuff. Toss them in a little oil on a parchment sheet. I'm gonna hit them with just a little dusting of salt. And then go in there and start filling the crevices. There we go. I like a good amount of filling. Jeffrey, you got those?
You want to eat that without even baking it, don't you, Jeff?
I'm just like,
right,
I'm
you
all
just
in.
pop it right in. And then we're going to top them with our breadcrumbs and put them in the oven. See how fast this comes together? I mean, you can just spoon this into the mushrooms, but I just find that this is so much easier to pipe it in. And this is the kind of thing that everybody loves to eat. Now, typically, I don't do a whole lot of appetizers on Thanksgiving because I want everybody to be hungry for the main event.
One to two.
So, like, if I'm doing this as an appetizer, I'll put out some crudité, some little veggies for people to be eating. And I always have deviled eggs. But I'm not doing a big old spread with a whole big cheese plate and everything.
Technique.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is when you leave out the charcuterie for a Thanksgiving appetizer.
Right.
All that meat, the cheese, the
like
crostini.
shrimp cocktail.
Something
like that, right?
Something light. Yeah. Because you're working really hard on that Thanksgiving meal. You want everybody to eat it. You finish those up. I've got some in the oven. They go in 400 degrees for 20, 25 minutes. I've got them over here.
Ooh.
Oh, they look so good.
My in-laws not only come on time, they come at least an hour early
No,
to
I
thought
every
you were gonna say at
celebration.
least a couple
don't
days
do that.
early.
If they wanted to, they would.
That drives
I still
me
need to
nuts.
take a
That drives me
shower, do my
nuts.
hair. You know?
I always give the wrong time. I know the people I give the wrong time to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They,
you know
they
the
think
ones.
they're coming 45 minutes early and seeing like it's not quite ready is
Yeah.
cool. It's not cool.
Those look so good, Katie.
They
I can't. I
really
mean,
do.
just like in dare I say, like professional. Look at them. It's like
Right?
this is
Well,
definitely
I
not
am
like
a
the.
professional.
Yeah,
chef.
you are. Well, it's not a freezer. You know, it's not like a
Oh,
Right.
God.
big
don't
box
do those.
store
Yeah.
freezer pull of.
But listen, you can easily make these and freeze them. The holidays are here.
Would you freeze
so
before baking? Right? Okay.
freeze before baking. If you're making these for Thanksgiving and you're gonna freeze them, you might as well double or triple the recipe because it is the holiday season.
It's the holidays.
And if you're having drop-in guests, you can have these in the freezer ready to pop in the oven.
Controversial idea. What about the big portobello?
Oh,
Right?
you could make
You just pipe it in that big
Because,
thing.
by the
you can
way,
just
Sunny,
slice into
like
it.
a pie.
That's a good idea because if somebody's vegetarian, that is a great main
don't
dish.
invite them.
Look at me looking out for
Yeah.
the vegetarian.
You are just so
Look at you.
so selfless sometimes. I'm shocked.
All right.
Wow.
So pretty.
Look
Get
at this
in there.
one tiny mushroom for big
Yeah.
old Jeff. Here we go.
We'll switch. Mine's a little bit bigger. You're right.
I'm trying to tell you something.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Yeah, I know. Gotta get the hint.
I'm gonna pop it in. It's a pop.
I'm just a popper, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
I'm gonna get this little one.
You want to put these in the oven?
I'm looking over
Oh,
here,
well,
Jeff.
I missed one.
I don't even know.
what's up,
It was just it was like
Just
I
take
heard like a train horn,
Katie?
like a train whistle. Because it was a locomotive of flavor that just straight beeline straight onto my tongue.
I'm making truffled mac and cheese. This is a great dinner party dish because it's kind of very casual, but it's very elegant. People love it. You can make it in advance, throw it in the oven, nothing to do when the guests arrive. So I'm starting with mushrooms. I've sliced cremini and shiitake mushrooms, and I'm just sauteing them in butter and olive oil just until they're tender, which they are. It's perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of cream sherry. The sweetness is really good with them. There's something about sherry and mushrooms that are really good together. It'll get infused into the mushrooms, but it's also going to deglaze the pan so you get all the flavor into the truffled mac and cheese. Okay, while that cooks, I'm going to cook the pasta. So I like to use cavatappi, which is like a squiggly pasta. I'm going to pour it into a big pot of boiling salted water, and that cooks for about 6 to 8 minutes. Next, the sauce. So I'm starting with truffle butter. It's a 3-ounce pot. I use white truffle butter because I really like the flavor. Okay, that's going to melt, and now I'm going to make the sauce. I'll add half a cup of all-purpose flour, whisk it constantly for 2 minutes, pour in 4 cups of scalded whole milk, and cook the sauce, stirring constantly with a wooden spoon for 2 minutes. So now I'm going to add lots of cheese. So I've got 4 cups of Gruyere and 3 cups of grated extra sharp cheddar, and then lots of seasonings. Just a sprinkling of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons of salt, and lots of pepper. I'm just going to stir this in. Oh, this smells good. It looks good. This is like classic comfort food, all dressed up for a party. Okay, I think the pasta's ready, so I'm going to just drain it. I'm just going to put it right in the bowl. Lots of pasta. Okay, now I'm just going to put the sauce into the pasta, and I want to do it while it's still hot. You can really smell the nutmeg. It's a little subtle, but it really makes a difference. And then stir all this in. And then I'm going to add probably 2/3 of the mushrooms that I cooked. I'll save some for the top. You can really smell the truffles. How good is this going to be? The aroma is going to be all the way through the house. That's nicely mixed. Okay, just put it right in the dish. So nice. You can really make this like early in the day or even the day before and just throw it in the oven before dinner. And just because I can't leave well enough alone, I've made herb breadcrumbs to put on top, and it gives a nice, really crunchy topping and lots of flavor. Let me tell you how I made them. I put 1½ cups of diced white bread with the crust removed into the food processor with 2 cloves of garlic chopped, 3 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley, turned it on, and in a few moments, I had perfectly fine breadcrumbs all ready to sprinkle over the mac and cheese. Okay, one more thing. Just so everybody knows there are mushrooms in this and truffles. I'm just going to do some mushrooms right down the middle of the dish. Okay. Into the oven, 375 degrees for 40 minutes, and this is going to be amazing. And that's truffled mac and cheese. Who knew mac and cheese could be so elegant? But I can't have it sitting here without at least a little taste. Just a little corner, nobody will miss it. It just smells so good. That's a little taste. That's the best mac and cheese I've ever made. Wow.
A wild mushroom risotto and chicken stock.
What we found is some beautiful mushrooms at the market. We found some chanterelles and some porcinis. Now, these are very typical mushrooms for this particular region. And this is going to be the base for our risotto that we're making. So we got a couple onions. I'm going to chop these up. Take my pan, I'm going to warm it up a little bit, right? Just on like a medium flame. All right, so I got a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and a little bit of butter. All right, then we're going to add our chanterelles, beautiful chanterelle mushrooms to this. And let them start to sear the chanterelles. That's stunning. A few bay leaves I'm going to throw in as well. And a little bit of onion, almost like half my onion. And just a little bit of sea salt on top of that. All right, so I'm going to take the first batch here, just kind of dump it out into a platter. I'm going to do this a couple of times, just so we can get all the mushrooms cooked. All right, so I've got porcinis, right? The saute and the oil. Cook these guys down. Just give this a stir and let these cook. Glorious, man. Glorious. So I'm gonna add this to my mushroom batch here. It's got all that kind of glorious natural flavor.
The next step is the risotto itself.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is add the onions, all right, to the olive oil. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter to that. Okay, saute the onions. We'll let this sweat a little bit. And I'm gonna add my rice, okay? And this is that rice we found earlier, the Violone Nano. So I'm just gonna stir the rice, okay? And what I'm gonna do is add just a little bit of white wine to this, a little shot, right? Because you need some kind of acid. Give it a little splash. Okay, then we're gonna start adding broth. And I've got some fresh chicken stock. That's gonna make all the difference in the world in risotto. Bueno? Yeah? Bueno? Bellissimo? Huh? Not bad?
Buonissimo.
Not bad from a kid from New York? Not bad, huh?
The way I make risotto is to stir it over a gentle flame until each ladleful of liquid is absorbed.
Very simple. Now we take the mushrooms, right? All their natural juice, which looks like autumn in Piemonte, baby. You know what I'm talking about? That looks beautiful. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to it, like that. Boom. A little bit of pepper. And a little bit of fresh chopped parsley for a garnish. Big hunk of cheese, right? You want to grate some nice fresh cheese in this. The Parmigiano Reggiano or Pecorino Romano or whatever you got, doesn't matter. Big knob of butter. Give it a good stir. Beautiful mushroom risotto from the hills of Piemonte. All right, this is fantastic. It's done, right? All the flavors are in, and it tastes delicious.
Allora, tutto bene? Com'è sta storia?
You taste my risotto?
Fammi un po' da te.
Go ahead, dig in, dig in. It's delicious. Okay. Huh? Not bad? Not bad, huh?
Voglio bene, eh?
No.
Guarda man.
Man,
Buono,
got a
ma-
trick up his sleeve.
C'è ancora la possibilità di aumentare.
He wants to put some truffles in. He keeps his truffles in his pocket.
Aspetta, guarda qui.
Look at these.
Troppo?
The big one? Oh, you're the man. Okay, so what's really gonna set this off? Fresh truffles. It's delicious without it. You don't need it, I'm telling you, man. Stir this in. Now we're talking, man. That's fantastic. Try that. Wild mushroom risotto from Piemonte.
Risotto.
Tartufo. Con funghi. Ah, bellissimo.
Bravo.
Ecco qua.
Basta. Ciao, eh?
Yeah,
Oh, bravo, là.
Risotto, eh?
Bravo.
Funghi, eh?
The most important part of a perfect risotto is to allow it to set for 2 or 3 minutes before you serve it. This is when it becomes outrageously creamy, like it should be. Then you should eat it as soon as possible while it retains its perfect texture.
Allegria.
The best, huh?
Felicità a tutti, tutta la compagnia.
Although you get good risotto in restaurants everywhere now, risotto is one dish that's better made at home when you have plenty of time. It's a fantastic family dish because everyone loves it.
Ottimo.
Ultimate. The ultimate. The ultimate. This is the ultimate. I didn't have to say it.
I'm gonna make my grilled London broil and portobello mushrooms. Very simple. Okay, so you know you can go to the grocery store and in the produce section, they'll have like that mix. You can get like the oyster mushrooms, shiitake, baby
Sometimes it's cut
bellas,
too, right?
the chanterelle. Sometimes they're even cut down for you. Get them into a pan with a little bit of oil and you're gonna saute them down, then season with salt and pepper. And that's gonna start our umami butter. So I'm gonna get that here into our food processor with some butter. That's gonna get all blitzed in there, nice and yummy. Now, in the same pan that I rendered them down, I'm gonna add in some flavor. All right, so this is actually what I love to put on my edamame that I get from the freezer without the mushrooms. So if you're in love with edamame, do everything and stop before you throw the mushrooms down. But in here, I've got just some ginger that you grate, some garlic, some red chili flakes. I like to add in some lemon juice, some fish sauce, which has great umami in it. Just a little goes a long way. Some lemon zest as well. And then I just kind of like to move it around.
You know that the word umami in Japanese translates to delicious.
Umami.
No, Katie, deliciousness.
Deliciousness?
Deliciousness.
I put a little bit of olive oil just to make it move around a little bit.
Golly.
Here, you want to take this?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is get half of this, so you can follow, into our food processor to provide some flavor.
Wow.
And then the rest of it, GZ, if you don't mind, slathering my London broil with it. So to continue making the umami butter, some cilantro and some lemon zest. Come in with a little bit of black pepper.
Oh,
And I mean, a good compound butter goes a long way, man. It could also just be spread on some bread, you know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
After you toast it on the grill.
Finish a pan sauce with it. Ooh, look at that.
Okay.
Wow.
And then just blitz away.
You could put this butter on a potato. You could put this butter just as a base for a pasta, like a fresh
How about
fettuccine.
a fried egg with this?
Exactly.
Dude.
So right now, I'm just gonna put some of this right into a little pan so I can melt it down. But the rest, you could store this in the freezer. GZ, one time, we were talking about making some compound butter. I still have a lot of it in the freezer, plastic bag. Just push the air out and it's good to go. All right, GZ, you got that for me? So just wrap that up. And then I'm gonna get it onto the grill and it looks like this after it's been hanging out for a minute.
I mean, you know it's gonna be good when you smell so good and nothing's been thrown on the grill yet.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm telling you, right?
Really packing all that flavor into the meat. And a compound butter is such a great way to really add an intense
It really, really, truly is. This hung out in the fridge for about 4 hours, and you bring it out for 2 hours to get room temperature.
Yes.
So it's a total of 6 hours. You can pat it dry a little bit, but it's looking really, really good. And just gonna get it onto the grill. Look at that big old meaty cut. Look at that.
London broil.
Right on. Deliciousness. All right, let me wash my hands really quick.
You don't see a lot of London broils these days.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Let's take it back single-handedly here in the kitchen. Let's bring it back.
All right, so I've got my pan in there, gonna melt the butter down just as the actual London broil is grilling as well. And then I've got these big old portobellas. Just go ahead and take the little gills out. A little bit of olive oil. Salt and pepper. I like to let the olive oil hit whatever I'm doing.
I mean, this is maximum mushroom application.
Yeah, just kind of move them around in the oil, move them around. Don't waste that good oil on the tray. And then right onto the grill. You know it. Look at that.
Oh.
And GZ, if you don't mind, hooking me up with a nice little quarter slice.
Sure, where do you want to put them?
Right here. Oh, I'm gonna toss them with some of this, put them right here. I'm gonna toss them with a little bit of this butter. And then I'm gonna get my steak from the back here. Come in right here with you. Drop the steak. while I get that butter off.
I love a grilled portobello mushroom.
So do I. Remember they were like all the rage in the 90s and they kind of went away. I use them all the time now.
Yeah?
Wow,
Look at that, baby. Come on, London Royal, baby. So you can go ahead and cut it 6 minutes aside for medium rare. Remember, I've got the butter here with the mushrooms, the ginger, the red chili flake, the fish sauce, lemon zest, lemon juice, garlic, all flavor bombs. But really what's coming in there and really doing that umami work is the fish sauce and the mushrooms. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of the mushrooms on the mushrooms to give them a nice toss.
Triple mushroom?
Yeah, triple mushroom. Umami all over the place, baby. And then stir these up. You want to get those onto the plate?
Oh, look at that move. We've seen that.
Give them a nice little stir. Yeah. I love to serve these kind of on the side. Everyone get a little umami on their life. And then, I mean, come on, Jeezy.
Come on.
Oh, all in one move.
Yeah, all of it. Just
Sonny.
get it and get it out there.
We're getting this piece right here.
And then
Sorry.
come over the top and finish it off with a little bit more of that umami.
Wow.
A little mushroom fire right there for your life. There you go. Meat, baby. That's what I do. Thanks, Jeezy, for making your own plate. You guys want some?
Yes.
We met.
But very, very simple, you know? If you're into a marinade that's super simple, probably pantry pulls, maybe just go get some fish sauce. Use it sparingly. Got it? Little mushroom in there.
Mushrooms.
You know, I don't remember the last time I had this cutter steak.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've
Meaty,
ever.
right? London broil is good, very inexpensive, and really hard to make wrong. You know?
You do have to chew it.
Yeah, it's
but
a chew.
There's so much flavor. And you're right, the umami is it's all over the place, explosion in your mouth. The heat, the butter, the ginger, the soy. I taste everything.
Lettuce wraps with mushrooms and tofu. We're gonna use firm tofu that we really kind of drained, got it nice and extra firm and extra dry. Katie, you are on pickling duty. We're gonna do some quick pickles here with some of these nice cucumbers sliced on the mandolin, and then just some sugar and rice wine vinegar.
Yep, rice
no
wine.
water. It is a shiitake mushroom, and I got them in a food processor. So my whole kind of vision with this is just to mimic ground meat, right? Get everything nice and pebbly. So we're gonna hard saute it so we develop all those flavors and color on there. So we're gonna pulse this so we can get that texture we're looking for. Well, and we are gonna add another duxelle ingredient, shallots.
Come on.
Right in there. Shallots
You know
in there.
this is going to be good.
Yep.
All these shiitake mushrooms in there.
Some cashew for a little extra body, right? And richness.
Interesting.
And then, of course, our pressed, our drained, firm tofu. Look at this.
And,
looks
it
delicious,
tastes great.
Now to add a little, what I like to give that little something, that little crispness, a little cornstarch in here.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Jeff.
Just to coat the outside so you get, when it hits that oil, and now we're gonna hit it hard in here. Now you can do this in batches
Hit it
too.
hard,
This
yeah.
is plenty for 2 meals. It only gets better overnight.
Yeah.
Flowers, right?
Wow, look at
I
that.
like that sizzle sound.
I love that.
Oh, that's a lot. Come on, Jeff.
A little bit of oil, non-stick, no movement.
Okay, just let it
Let
go.
this chill nice and high. Let those mushrooms cook down. Let the tofu kind of caramelize a little bit. Now, when we get done with all of our saute, we're gonna add a sauce, which I'm gonna make right now, starting with a little bit of that chili crunch in there.
Okay.
For a little more, little texture, little toasted sesame seed oil.
Gotta have it.
Getting funky.
All right. A little black vinegar.
Come on with it. I love it.
Fresh ginger, grated on a rasp. Garlic, fresh,
Come on.
grated on a rasp. Soy sauce, grated on a rasp.
Grate it. Do it.
Then we got some dark brown sugar, because I can and I will.
That's right.
And that's what we did. And this is this kind of awesome little burst of salt and sweetness. Now check this out, right? It's still a little flippy, dude. That's the color we're looking for, right?
My artifact.
Look at my artifact. Boom.
Does it work
And that's
on
from
non-meat
that
items?
cornstarch in there. getting the
Cornstarch makes it
crispiness.
crispy. We're gonna saute that in batches.
Look
Kind of
at
give that
you.
chili crunch in there,
Wow.
right? Oh,
So will you build me one, Jeff?
I'm gonna build
I
you.
want it with everything.
You want one with everything.
Okay.
Here we go, Jeff.
Do you use 2 lettuces
I
like
do
taco?
like two. I
Yeah.
do like two.
Drippage.
Drippage.
Yeah.
Drippage and seepage.
Look
at
how
that.
good that looks.
Look at that.
It looks delicious, Jeff.
Look at that.
I love meals like this to our family too because everybody can customize and have it just the way they want it.
Salted, toasted peanuts on there.
More protein, dare I say. Thank you.
Here.
Yeah.
It's strictly build your own at the Morrow House. Yeah.
It's so abundantly flavorful and so perfectly seasoned. You wouldn't know this isn't chicken or something like that. This is delicious, Jeff.
This is actually one of my favorite dishes. It's pasta with white truffle butter. I sliced all of these cremini mushrooms. I'm just going to saute them in a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil, until they're really sort of golden brown. This is a great dish for the holidays because you make huge amounts of it. I'm just going to let them cook slowly so they get really nice and tender and browned. Okay, that's the mushrooms. So that's going to cook away. Next thing I want to do is make the sauce. The sauce is really easy. It's heavy cream, about a cup of heavy cream. I'm just going to heat it up. And I think I'm going to do some salt and pepper in it too. I use kosher salt and fresh cracked pepper. And 2 pots of this white truffle butter. I'm going to turn off the heat and just melt the truffle butter in it. Just let it melt in. You're not going to believe how fast this dish is. And it's great for the holidays. You make large batches of it. It's good with chicken, you know, as a side dish. It's great on its own with a salad, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. Okay, that's just going to melt right into that. I've got a large pot of boiling water, lots of salt, really important. I'm just going to dump the pasta in. So this is fresh fettuccine. It's going to cook in like 2 minutes. Fantastic. One more pasta. That's a lot of pasta. Okay, the mushrooms are cooking away. It's like a one-man song and dance band over here. I think the pasta's done. Just going to drain it. Whoa, that's a big pot of pasta. So I'm going to put the pasta right into the cream sauce, and then it really absorbs the flavors. Okay, fresh chives. I think they're really good on this pasta. Ooh, that smells great. So just toss it in with tongs. I can really smell the truffles and the butter and the cream. I mean, how good does this look? Wow. I'm gonna add the cooked mushrooms, all these cremini mushrooms with a little butter. And then the last thing is fresh Parmesan cheese. I mean, for a whole dinner, that was pretty fast, wasn't it? Lots of Parmesan cheese right on top. I'm just gonna toss it in with the tongs. Sprinkling of chives on the top, a little Parmesan cheese. And I would say dinner is served. Very polite and waiting for you.
It smells so good.
So it's pasta with white truffle butter. And Jeffrey made the pasta.
I made the pasta. I never thought I could do it.
No one did.
No.
Was it hard?
It was really hard, let me tell you. I got up, the sun was just rising. I worked all day long.
You look exhausted.
But it shows, right?
It's really
Does it show?
We're the beneficiaries.
Is it really good?
Yes.
I'm not feeling the appreciation.
Jeremy, how long do you cook fresh pasta?
Well, you cook it until it's done.
Take over on it. You better be cooking.
Well, you're here for another fantastic recipe. Now, I am a guy that loves big sandwiches. I love pastrami, I love roast beef, I love burgers, but my little sister Morgan, who I love so much, taught me to appreciate the vegetarian side of things, to understand that, well, there's a lot of big flavor and there's some delicious sandwiches and they don't have to have meat, and that's what we're making today. We're making a fried oyster mushroom burger. You're gonna love it. I know you're shaking your head right now saying, come on, guy, I want some tacos, I want some pizza, I want a big pastrami sandwich, I want that burger that you always do at Guy's Burger Joint. Trust me, once you try this, once you get a bite of this, it's gonna change your game. Let's start things up. I'll grab this. I always wreck the cookie drying racks. I'm gonna take these scallions and I'm gonna make this charred scallion mayo. Now, I had a version of this fried mushroom sandwich on a Triple D joint down in San Diego, and I'm gonna tell you what, I don't think I'll ever be able to do as good as they did. You got my favorite things going on here. You got the acid, you got the salt, and you got the heat. I would eat one of those every day. This is kind of my interpretation, okay? So we'll throw this down, char up these scallions. While that's working, we have a little donkey sauce. Of course, in the Fieri house, we always have donkey sauce. And this is simply just some mayonnaise, some garlic, some Worcestershire, black pepper, and a little bit of mustard. You can't beat it. So we'll char these real quick. There we go, that's hot. While that's working, I've got oil coming up. My oil is screaming hot right now. It's at 400 plus, and I'm gonna be frying, so I want that at what temperature at home? Exactly, 350 degrees. I'm gonna take this a little bit higher because these mushrooms are gonna be kind of thin and they're gonna go off really fast. I wanna put a really nice hard crunch on them, but typically 350 would be where we'd wanna be. Scallions, nice and hot, great flavor. Into the donkey sauce, give it a little stir. That's the beginning. Okay? Fresno chili, nice and thin. If you can't get them thin enough like this, go ahead and get the mandolin out. Nice thin Fresno chili. We'll get a little cabbage. Again, another great time to have the mandolin. This is gonna be a nice, light, crunchy slaw that's gonna go right on top of this. Okay, a little purple cabbage. If you're not gonna use all the cabbage, don't cut it all up. Just gonna sit there and dry out in your fridge. Okay. All that's done. Into a bowl, we'll get a little rice vinegar. Seasoned rice vinegar. A little mustard. You got all these ingredients, right? This is simple. I mean, this is about, and if you don't have the seasoned rice vinegar, use apple cider vinegar. Touch of some salt, a little cracked black pepper, a little olive oil. You know what I'm gonna do? A little garlic. See how I'm improvising? That's the beauty about this dish. You can make this your flavor, your style. I'm taking it a little bit into the Asian element right now, but if you want to throw barbecue sauce on this, you could. Drop in the cabbages, the Fresno chili, great color in that. Throw a little bit of the scallion. Boom. Give this a mix. Okay? Now the mushrooms, if I have my choice, it's gonna be what's the freshest mushroom and what looks the best. We have these beautiful oyster mushrooms. Now you can see how they've grown, okay? We're gonna take this bottom off here, and they're probably gonna start to come apart on us a little bit. That's fine. We're gonna take them and pull them apart a bit and dredge them in some flour. Come on over. You with me? I take the bling off. I'll be washing this for a week. AP flour, rice flour. Very simple. Just gonna take the mushrooms, break them into a couple pieces, give them a little dredge just so some flour will stick to their natural moisture that they have. A little bit more. Now, I gotta grab a couple eggs. We're gonna make a tempura flour, real quick and easy tempura flour right here. So the shell is not supposed to go in there. There's two, but this is where we're really gonna change everything, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take this ice and this seltzer, and this is what's gonna create the nice light airiness. One, the cold, and two, the carbonation, okay? So these are cold, but I'm also gonna add them to the ice. So first we'll mix up the eggs into the flour. Now we'll come over here with just a little bit of the seltzer water. Start to see that batter forming up. I'm using this baking dish because it'll keep the temperature without letting this get too hot. Matter of fact, if you can start off with it cold. The whole key to this is to making this tempura is to really make sure that this batter stays cold. If you don't want to use the egg, you don't have to. The main principle of the egg is for some really nice color. And I just keep adding it as I need it. I didn't do real set measurements. A little bit lumpy like pancake batter. And like I said, super, super cold. And if you keep this cold, like if you want to do multiple batches of this, you throw it back in the freezer, you're gonna be real happy. It's that reaction that happens from going to super, super cold, bound to the mushrooms, to going into the hot oil that's gonna create that expansion. See how excited I got about that? Looking for it to be just about like pancake batter. Okay? Fantastic. Let's come over here, get all this frying going at one time. I'm making such a mess. All right, over we go. Drop the mushrooms in. We're still screaming too hot. Hang on a second. This is where we'll make the big mistake. If we don't get this temperature correct, we're just gonna send ourselves into frying the outside of it and being raw in the center. So the best way to do this is to add a little more oil. There we go. You see it start to drop right there? Awesome. We're right about 375. Bring them right over. Give them a little shake, making sure we don't put too much batter in. And we drop them right in. Now, maitake mushrooms are awesome for this. Whatever your favorite mushroom is. Oh, this is gonna be dynamite. And this with the cold, crunchy slaw and a little bit of that roasted scallion donkey sauce. Make sure I didn't leave anybody behind. Okay. This is super critical. Nice spider. Oh, look at this. Nice, big, crunchy puff. You see the puff going on with that? That's because of the cold. That's because of the carbonation. While that goes, get a little garlic butter. I believe that whenever we're using bread, and again, we don't get to eat it as often as we love to, make sure you're using something really good and also treat it. I think that just giving it a little bit of, giving it a little appreciation, putting a little garlic butter on this, giving it a little toast, building some of that flavor, building some of that texture. Okay. Go down with those two. Mushrooms are almost done, and you can already see how it's puffing up so nice. And if you don't want the bun, just this with some slaw, and it's gonna be done a nice meaty mushroom. Going on a little bit of tang of the acid that we have in there from that seasoned vinegar from the slaw. Ciabatta has toasted off nicely. I like to get both sides of it. One of the things about when we're cooking is having the setup. Being ready ahead of time for what you need, when you're gonna need it, keeps you from running around trying to find something and coming back and it's burnt. Look at these beautiful mushrooms. Nice, light, crispy. Let these cool down just a touch. Excellent, okay? Get in a little bit of that scallion donkey sauce or the scallion mayo. Touch on top. And again, you don't want to do this. You don't want to get into the mayo. You can make a vegan mayo. I've had some fantastic vegan mayos. We're out there, Triple D. I'm finding all these great vegan restaurants that are coming up. Give that a shot. I mean, if you really want to take it hardcore like that, you totally can. Then we'll grab some of the slaw. Wrong side. There we go. Oh, yeah. Just going to give that fry just a little touch of some salt. Fried food loves its salt. A little lemon juice, just a little kiss, little acid to that fry. Oh, yeah. I've been dying to make this for you. You want to make this. You know you do. So simple, so easy, so straightforward. Besides the frying part of me, I guess you could roast the mushrooms, but come on, once in a while we can indulge. Your favorite mushroom, tempura battered, Asian slaw, a garlic butter ciabatta, all put together with a little roasted scallion aioli? Come on. It's crunchy, it's salty, it's got great acidity, it's rich with the scallion mayo, it's meaty, it's definitely meaty. When you try this at home, don't tell your friends that it's mushroom. Don't make a big deal about it. Just say, hey, made this sandwich. What is it? Is it chicken? As far as you know. Let them get into it. I promise you, they take a bite of that, they're never gonna know that it's mushroom. You're gonna love this recipe. Download it now. See you guys next week. Adios.
Baked brie with mushrooms. So I've got butter and olive oil in a skillet, and I just added some onion, garlic, thyme, and rosemary, and I chopped them really fine, and I'm cooking the onions. They're already sizzling away, and then now come the mushrooms. Now I just need to cook the mushrooms for about 3 minutes. Okay, the mushrooms look great, so I'm going to pour in probably a 1/4 cup of red wine, and then I'm gonna turn the heat way up and just stir these until they've absorbed basically all of the wine they can possibly absorb, and everything has been reduced. Look at those beautiful mushrooms. So I'm gonna turn off the heat, and I'm going to start on the baked brie process. So baked brie uses puff pastry. This is frozen puff pastry, and I let it thaw overnight in the fridge, and then I took it out about an hour ago, so it's pretty soft. So basically you want to pile the mushrooms right in the center, and then just a wheel of brie. I leave the rind on, it's just a personal preference. Kind of smush it into the mushrooms, and then you just bring up the sides of the puff pastry, and you are basically enclosing the brie in the pastry. So look. Now you can bake it like that, but I intentionally put the mushrooms on the bottom of the brie because I flipped it over and now they're on top. And then I have a simple egg wash, and it's just egg and water, and I whisked it together, and I'm brushing it all over the surface. So I'm gonna bake the brie at 375 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes until it's golden. Let's check out this beautiful baked brie. Oh, comes right off that parchment. How beautiful. So I'm just doing some circles of crostini. I'm gonna put a little sprig of rosemary on top. Got some cranberries. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this is gorgeous, and it's just as perfect with, you know, like your spouse, your sweetie, as it is for a party. So it's just one of those things that no one ever doesn't love. So you've got to get in here and look at this, Alex. Look. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's a lava flow. It's beautiful. I better get in here before it runs off the side. Look at this. And the mushrooms. Honey baby.
Today, we're doing a fusilli with mushrooms, sausage, and some fresh herbs. Very simple. These are oyster mushrooms because they look like a
scallop.
I love them. They're easy to cook. They're simple. You just pick them off and cut them in chunks. Keep them a little big because they're going to shrink, okay? Now, before anything, the pasta. The pasta has been dropped in greatly salted water. And I'm doing a little different method here. I put very little water in, a lot of salt, and I cook it down so that it's almost going to evaporate completely. I know it sounds odd, almost like you're doing a risotto. The amount of flour that you get out of that, the durum, the wheat, into the water helps this get really silky. It really makes a magnificent difference. So I've been doing this, and I've actually been saving this water, some of it, to put into the next batch, sort of like, you know, you make like a yeast starter.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been having some fun. With my pasta. So this sausage, this is spicy sausage. I like spicy sausage for this dish because it doesn't come across as hot. It's spicy, but it's not hot. It's a big difference.
You know, often in spicy sausage, it is, in fact, those pizzeria red pepper flakes that give the heat, and that's that kind of heat that unfolds, and it mixes with the pasta, and it just makes you eat 5 bowls instead of 1.
I browned it. You can see how brown that is. It's really brown. You want the bits and pieces on the edge to get that fat out. And what I'm looking for is the gold of that fat, okay? So to that fat, I'm going to add some chopped garlic. Oh, it's like...
And this is so quick. Once you brown the sausage, I mean, right, it's coming because your pasta's already in the water. I know.
A little bit of pepperoncini. We're going to add a little tomato paste. Why tomato paste? I think the paste really gives a depth to it. It's like adding a splash of Worcestershire or a splash of soy sauce.
It's not like adding tomato. I think it should be tomato in parentheses, paste, because it's really like it adds a zing of, it's almost citrusy, it's almost acidic. It wakes up everything else.
You finished my cooking sentences. So we got the garlic. Oh, just hit me. Oh, it was
get a sniff break.
You had to stop and take a sniff break.
We're going to put the mush right in here. Boom.
What if you can't find oyster mushrooms?
Anything you want. White mushrooms, hen of the woods, Paris mushrooms, shiitakes.
Creminis?
creminis, yes.
Hey, did you cut the stems off the oyster mushrooms?
I did. They're a little chewy.
I think they're kind of woodsy, and I don't like to waste mushroom, but on shiitakes and oysters, I pop that stem off.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't bite it with your
My
front
pasta's ready. My sausage is ready. My mushrooms are nicely browned. I'm going to put them right from the water in here.
Wow, you really don't have a lot of water. You've almost cooked that pasta like you would rice.
Yeah.
Yep. Get a little water. Careful, it is salty. You got to be careful. Put that in there. Now, at this point, I'm going to add a touch of vino, which is unusual, kind of, right?
White wine, dry,
White wine.
sweet.
Dry white wine, always wine that you
Can
would
it be
drink.
cheap? Can it be like if you have a little bit left over in the door of the fridge from the last bottle you drank?
Absolutely. That rarely happens to me, but absolutely. Okay, we're going to taste. And at this point, this is when I shut the heat off and start adding a little bit of fromage.
What kind of cheese?
This is Parmesan, and that's Pecorino Romano. So we're going to have 2 cheeses, a little butter, and a little fresh rosemary. Again.
Oh, again, this guy.
So you're on a rosemary kick.
Now,
When's the last time?
when you're making this sauce, I like to put a little bit more cheese in. If you careful with the cheese, it has to be off the fire.
What are we looking for taste-wise right now at this point?
I'm looking for something that's balanced. The salt and the spice is balanced. The mushrooms are the mildest flavor here. They're actually more of a texture than anything else. But I think I just achieved it right then. I think it just happened.
You did it.
Yeah, and if you can see how glossy that looks, it really has this starchiness from that water, from cooking it really low. Now, if you want, you can save that water, take the rest of that leftover pasta out. And we are ready to dress. All right, a couple of finishing tips. Basil, I always tear. I don't cut it. I just think it ruins the oil and the flavor of it. Plus, I love the residual smell on my hands. It's just fantastic. Okay, so we're just gonna take some basil over the top.
This guy.
See this? See from here. Pecorino Romano.
Oh, look at that method. He's doing the whole side method. I like
Whole
that.
side. This really gets a lot.
Look at that. Load it up, brother.
A little extra virgin olive oil, and then we eat. That's it.
That's it?
That's it?
That's it.
You sure?
Yep. I'm
No chives hanging around? No.
Oh. Look at that.
Great choice in the fusilli, too, because it's catching all that flavor.
Everything. And it's, if you can you see how shiny the pasta is? That's the key. That's the starch. That's
starchy water.
You can put all the butter in here you want. It just gets buttery.
Yeah.
Well, I like that you've combined butter and olive oil. It's really very Italian of you.
So good. And this little fusilli is just perfect for these mushrooms because the mushrooms are soft. They're firm, but they're yielding, you know? It's not greasy. It's not buttery. Just the right amount of cheese. Not a bad Monday night.
I thought I'd make cream of wild mushroom soup to start because I can make the whole thing in advance and then just heat it up before dinner. I'm starting with 5 ounces of each of 3 mushrooms, portobello, cremini, and shiitake. If you can't find all 3, just pick one. Okay, nice clean mushrooms. So the next step is to separate the mushroom stems from the caps. That one's just caps. Take off the stems. I love the nutty, sort of meaty flavor of the wild mushrooms. I'm gonna chop the stems, just a rough chop because they're all gonna get cooked together. And then for more flavor, I'm gonna chop a carrot. Any kind of vegetables you have that will flavor the stock, it's a great way to use them up. Okay, so now I'm gonna heat the pan. A tablespoon of olive oil, tablespoon of butter. In go the onions, carrots, and the mushroom stems. These are just going to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes until they get really nicely caramelized. And okay, big sprig of thyme right in. Just going to let that cook. I'm going to get the rest of the soup ready. So the first thing I'm going to use is a leek. I know you've seen it at the grocery store, but people don't use it so much here. So, you need some butter and oil again, just so that you get the best flavor of the butter and the best burning temperatures of the oil. Leeks go into the pan, and those are going to saute for about 15 to 20 minutes until they have great flavor. In the meantime, I'm going to pour some water into the stock. I need 6 cups of water. So it's just going to simmer away for about 30 minutes until it gets a really rich mushroom stock. And then later, I'm going to add it to the soup. Okay, so the next thing I want to do for the soup is cut up the mushroom caps, like 1/4 half-inch slices, Okay, that's it for the mushrooms. I'm just going to go into the pan with the leeks in the butter. Just give them a stir. And those are going to cook for about 10 minutes until all the moisture from the mushrooms gets out into the soup. Okay, now I'm going to strain the stock. I want to get every last bit. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to add a little flour to these mushrooms. It's amazing how much they've cooked down. So I need 1/4 cup of flour. What this is going to do is thicken the soup. Just add it right to the mushrooms. Cook it for a minute. Perfect. Now I need 1 cup of dry white wine, whatever you have in the refrigerator. Oh, that smells great. Okay, some fresh thyme leaves, about a teaspoon. Give it a stir. And now I'm going to add the stock. Look how gorgeous that is, just from the stems. Okay, last ingredients. So 1 cup of cream. And then 1 cup of half and half. And 1/2 cup of fresh parsley. Give it a stir. So I'm going to chill this, and then I'm going to heat it up just before dinner.
This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Actually, this is the best soup I've ever had. It is delicious.
Thank you.
Really.
Got this cast iron getting hot. Had the butcher knock out a nice local Sonoma County chicken into 10 pieces. We'll hit it with some salt and pepper. Get just a little bit of oil down in this. Okay, so I put the chicken down, skin side first, and we split those breasts in half. This will roast down so nice, it'll almost just be fall off the bone tender. Now, some nice white button mushrooms and a little bit of garlic. This is all gonna be going for this sauce. When I'm gonna let it go low and slow like this, I like slivers of the garlic. Let me get this chicken out of here. So a nice little crust on top. Don't want to cook it all the way through, but what I did is started with the skin and fat side first to render it down, get that fat from underneath the skin. And then let me get the onions down. So look at all the flavor in the bottom of the pan. That's all that chicken fat, all the schmaltz down in there, as my buddy Mark Disson would say. All right. Onions in, mushrooms in. Those little mix. And then to expedite that process, a little bit of salt. Putting that chicken back in here in a little bit with some thyme and the garlic and then deglazing it. Outstanding. Now we're gonna add a little tomato paste. Hefty tablespoon. I'll stir that around in there and let that cook out. Onions have caramelized, mushrooms haven't broken down. Let's go back in with the chicken, fat side up. Here's the kicker. Grab that marsala. We're gonna come in and deglaze with about 1 cup of that marsala. You should smell it. The sweetness, the richness of that, but it's not gonna be just marsala. We're gonna hit it with a little chicken stock as well, up about 3/4 of the way. Coming over to the wood-fired oven. We grab these root veggies out. Slide that in. Oh, check that out. Look at that chicken right there. I'm gonna fire up this burner and remove the chicken. Why? So I can let it reduce. I want this sauce to reduce even more. You see, I've got that nice crunchy skin right up there on top because I didn't fill it up with too much liquid, but I really want this to reduce down and almost make like a gravy. I'm just gonna mount it with a little bit of butter, stir that in. Now we'll just hit it with a touch of some acid and a touch of parsley. Oh, and this is how we're gonna do it. Right on top. Look at that. And then just a little touch of the Italian parsley. A little breast of that. There we go, all the goodness.
So the first thing I'm doing is taking the caps off 16 big mushrooms. Just take them off like that. Mushrooms really can absorb any flavor because they really don't have much flavor themselves. So I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then 2½ tablespoons of Marsala. It's a wonderful sweet dessert wine. It's very often used in Zabaione. You can use sherry if you don't have it. Okay, give it a big toss. And that's gonna really absorb the flavors into the mushrooms. Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna make the stuffing. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And 3/4 of a pound of Italian sausage. I'm using sweet Italian sausage, but you can certainly use hot if you like it hot, or combine the two. It's good and messy, but it makes delicious stuffing. I'm just gonna let this cook until it's nicely browned. I'm gonna chop some mushroom stems, the ones that I took off, and just put them right in. Right into the cooked sausage. And now lots of flavors. I've got 6 scallions all chopped up. You want this to be really spicy and delicious. 2 cloves of garlic minced. Just give that a quick saute. And now instead of putting bread in this stuffing, I'm gonna put panko in, which is dried Japanese bread flakes. And I just think they give a nice crispness to it, which is just what I'm looking for. So about 2/3 of a cup. That should be good. Give it a big stir. This is really smelling like good stuffing. You can smell the sausage and the garlic and scallions and some mascarpone to make it nice and creamy and hold it together. So I need about 5 ounces. I think this package is 8 3/4, so good part of this package. I always use good Italian mascarpone. It makes a difference. Okay, now off the heat, I'm gonna add 2 more things and some salt and pepper. First one is Parmesan cheese. I'm just doing that off the heat because I don't want the Parmesan to stick to the pan. So about 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. That should be good. And some fresh parsley. About 2½ tablespoons. And then salt and pepper. A teaspoon of salt. You want this really well seasoned because remember the mushrooms don't have all that much flavor. Kind of like polenta, it absorbs whatever flavor you give it. So that's the stuffing. Looks delicious. Now I'm gonna put it in the mushrooms. Perfect pan, great. And I think I'm just gonna drizzle the extra olive oil and Marsala wine over it. Okay, time to stuff the mushrooms. Just a regular teaspoon, just stuff each one. And so when this bakes, it's gonna be just tender and delicious. Spicy with the sausage. Into the oven, 325 degrees. I can't wait till these come out.